Hey everybody, it has been a minute since I have posted anything onto my YouTube channel, The Journey to Purpose, but there has been a lot going on. If you know me and you've been around, I say all the time that we are never the victims of life, we are always the students of purpose. And trust me, I have been in class over the last, I want to say, maybe 5-6 months. But I want to share with you today, and I'll share a lot of different things in future videos because I got a lot to share in regards to this journey and the lessons that the spiritual lessons that are being downloaded like you wouldn't believe. But today I want to talk to you about an experience that I'm having with some divine messengers that flew into my life a couple of years ago called Cardinals. And these cardinals, like I said, I've been living here for over 14 years. And it's just been in the last 2-3 years that I started noticing the cardinals were visiting my backyard and frequently. And there was several of them to the point that they were so frequent, they would wake me up in the morning. I would hear them chirping. I got used to knowing how they sound and the different calls that they make. And so, of course, I love them. The brilliant red and everything is just exciting to me. So whenever I hear them, I'd rush out, to the backyard to see where they were and just watch them fly, jump from the rock garden that I have in my yard to the trees, to the fence and all this other stuff. And just they immediately bring such joy and confidence to my spirit whenever I see them. Well, the reason why I say that I'm sharing this experience that I'm having now is because it has moved to the next level for me. When I say there's been a lot of spiritual downloading going on in my life here recently, it really has. So the cardinals, we're going to learn about cardinals and the spiritual meanings behind what's going on. And I'm going to share with you why it's significant to me in some of these areas. Of course, I've got some notes here because I want to remember how to tell you all these things. But as I said, cardinals, for everybody knows, or most people know, that cardinals are often associated with the divine messengers, that they come to bring messages from your loved ones that have passed on. And so I know that when they were visiting so frequently, that I knew that there were several loved ones that had passed on. Both my grandmothers, my aunts, my son's father, other loved ones, my brother, a lot of loved ones that have, not a lot, but several loved ones that have passed on. And I just was elated that I'm having an opportunity to be visited by, my loved ones, showing me that they are present still in my life. And I was always elated by that. But here recently, it has leveled up, okay? In January 10th, in 2022, my mother passed. And at the time she passed, I was devastated, as was my 4 sisters. My mother had 5 daughters, and she called us the 5 stair steps to heaven, that she always referred to us as the 5 stair steps to heaven. And when she passed, at her wake, let me just back up and say it has just been, the experience of seeing me and my sisters, how we grieve our mother's death. There's 5 expressions of grief as it relates to our mom's passing. And sometimes it has been very hurtful. In her passing, it has strained our relationships as sisters. And so it's caused some of us to kind of grow closer and others kind of shy away. But all of us are going through our own way of grief. And so at my mother's wake, my sisters decided they were going to stand up and kind of honor her in telling about the relationships that they had personally with my mom. And of course, we had pictures that was on a loop that showed the different pictures of my sisters and their children and my mom and their husbands and things like that. Well, I didn't have that. Me and my children did not have the kind of relationship that my sisters and their children had. And so as each one of my sisters, my four other sisters got up and talked about their relationship and the loving memories that they had, I sit there grieving even more because I did not have those stories to tell. And as it went on, I felt cheated. I felt robbed. I felt jealous. I felt envious because while I wanted to have that kind of relationship with my mother so badly, it never happened. There was always something that just would not allow her to see me, and vice versa. So I'm just going to say we triggered each other. So at the wake, as everybody was standing up and talking, I thought, shameful and hurt that I did not have those experiences. I decided I wasn't going to say anything. And as I sit there, Spirit said, oh yeah, you're going to say something. You're going to get up and you're going to say something. And of course, I'm vacillating back and forth. I don't want to get up there. And so I go ahead and I'm obedient and I get up there. The last one. And I'm standing there and I'm choked up and I'm afraid to talk and say anything because it wasn't loving. Because my only thing that I know, I could tell the truth that I had was, no, my mom and I did not have that kind of relationship. It was challenging. It was difficult for the two of us. And so I did not have the experiences that they had. But as I went on, I was able to say, but you know what? I find that there will be the collateral beauty I see in all of this is that while I could not have the relationship that I desired so deeply to have with my mother while she was alive, I was now excited for the possibilities of having that relationship with my mother in the spirit realm. Because that's just where I'm at. I'm into that level of spirituality, wanting to connect with our oneness, our divine self, and how we are connected to each other, even when we're passed on. So I was so wanting to believe that the collateral beauty was, even though we did not have the relationship I desired, we could now have a spiritual relationship. Back to the Cardinals. It was one thing to have them visiting in the backyard. That was a general thing, okay, that was just loved ones, but that didn't mean that it was significantly to me. Well, like I said, my mom passed in January. My birthday was the first week of February. Well, by March, the middle of March, which is around my mom's birthday, really, because her birthday, oh my God, that just hit me. Oh my gosh. It was during the week of my mother's birthday that the Cardinals, I started seeing that week, the male cardinal, which is bright red, the bright red ones are the men, the male cardinals, and the brownish red are the women. Their wings are kind of reddish, but their crown is red, their beak is reddish orange, but they're more brownish red, and the males are red. So I started seeing first the male cardinal keep showing up, and this was around the mid part of March. It was around the first week of my mother's birthday, the week of my mother's birthday, I then started seeing both the male and the female cardinal show up. And I was like, oh my God, this is now specifically speaking to me. It was one thing to have them in the backyard. That could be, general. That didn't mean it was specifically for you. Even though they're constantly hanging out in my yard, in my pergola, on the fence, in the trees, at the feeder, and all that other stuff. They're at the front yard, and they're in this bush I have bushes along the front of my house. And where they are, or where they kept visiting, was right there at my office window where I'm at now, and I'm facing the window now. And so I'm watching them come there, and I'm now thinking, oh my goodness, wait a minute, hold on. This is specifically for me. Now that I'm saying this, my God, it was in the week of my mother's birthday that then I'm seeing both of the male and the female cardinals show up. Well, then the first of all, I'm excited about it. I'm so excited and everything. Oh my God, that's mom, that's mom, that's mom. You know, my loved ones are coming to tell me that they're still here with me. And of course, I had said that I wanted to have that spiritual relationship. And I said that I was happy because I now knew that all of the earthly thoughts and criticism and judgmental attitudes she has toward me, they were all gone. She could see clearly. She would see me, and I would be able to see in that spiritual sense who she is, and knowing that she would be a part of my spiritual council. So now they are at the front of this bush, in these front bushes. Well, the 1st of April, I start seeing the woman cardinal, the female cardinal. She starts coming by herself and bringing little twigs. I was like, oh my God, is she building a nest? And sure enough, she built a nest. So all through that week and a half, I'm watching the female cardinal build this nest. I'm excited. I'm out there sneaking, taking pictures and all this other stuff. Well, April 17th, on Easter, well, let me just back up. After the nest was done, I went out there and I snuck, because I was sneaking all the time, taking pictures with my phone of the different nests. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Dr. Penny Murray, then you'll see the pictures that I posted as she was building her nest and all this the process. So I go out there and I sneak and taking pictures. And then after the nest is finished, I'm watching her shape it, setting in it and shaping it all out and everything. And she leaves. So I sneak out there. Now the nest is finished and I'm taking pictures. 2 days go by and I don't see her. Now I'm scared that I have got my human scent on things and I run her off. So for the 2 days I don't see her and I'm kind of like, oh my God. So then on Easter Sunday, I see her come back. And I'm now excited. And I'm like, she came back. I didn't mess things up. She comes back and she's sitting there. And she's sitting there pretty much most of the day. And so I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. She'd leave and go eat and get something to eat. And then she'd come back and sit some more. And it wasn't until Monday that somebody was over my house and I was showing it to them. And so she stands up, the lady that I was talking to stands up and looks over into the bushes. And she says, oh my God, Penny, there's eggs in there. I said, get out of here, no way. So I stand up and I'm looking over into now the bushes and the nest. And sure enough, now at that time, I snuck out there when she went to get something to eat. I snuck out and got a picture really fast. And I thought I saw 4 eggs. Just four. But I had already said to everybody, my sisters and other people, I would be too fit to be tied. And I know that this would be my mom if she has 5 eggs. Well, when she had the 4, a friend of mine, I said, well, she only had 4 eggs because that's what I stuck out there and took pictures of and then left real fast. And I said, well, she only had 4 eggs. And so my friend said, well, Penny, the 5th egg is you. You're watching this happen. So there's no need for the 5th egg. You're already there. And so I was like, oh my God, oh yes, you're so right. So, but then yesterday, I started seeing Mama Cardinal just kind of moving around and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so then she leaves and I'm like, what is going on that she had so much movement going on? I guess she was moving the eggs around or whatever. So I sneak out there again and I go to see and I take a picture. There's 5 eggs there. There wasn't 4, it was 5 of them. I'm like, oh my God, this is really Mom. This is now the angels coming, and my mom is coming through this whole experience to show me that she is here with me. And so I'm just excited about it. Well, here's the thing. I'm sitting here and I'm watching now. When I thought it was just 4 eggs in there, I'm watching what's going on and I'm watching it. So I had been always going to the backyard because the cardinals were always there. I would go to the backyard to meditate. and just to hear them sing and be in their energy and stuff like that. And of course, when I put the feeder out, there were other little birds that came too, hummingbirds and all kinds of different small birds that would show up. So I loved being back there. And then one day I was back there, and Spirit said, I'm wanting you to move to the front window and sit there and meditate there. And I was like, okay. So I didn't think anything about it. Okay, no problem. So I come to the front to my office, and I, position my office chair right there by the window, so that I'm meditating during that time in the energy there. Well, we're going to get a lesson in the whole cardinals, the nest, the egg, and all of that. So in the process, my sisters, I'm just excited about it, and I'm putting pictures up of the cardinal update and all that. And one day my sister said, well, Penny, have you asked Spirit what message, is being brought to you with this experience? And I said, well, no, not really. He told me to move to the front to meditate, but I just sit there to meditate and just be in the energy. I'm not asking for anything, right? So I was like, duh. So I started asking, what is it that you want me to learn? What is it that you want me to know? And I just kept saying, every day I would come and meditate. And in the mornings I would come and check on her, and I would say, hey, Mommy Cardinal. As time went on, I started saying, hey, good morning, Mom. And it really felt like I was talking. I was saying good morning to my mom. That's how it was getting. And I just started I went that way. So I'm sitting there, and and then, yes, like I said, today is Saturday. Yesterday it was Friday, and it's the 29th. And so yesterday on the 28th, I was like, okay, well, this is, now here's the thing. When the eggs are laid, they said that they will begin to hatch anywhere from 12 to 13 days. So I was like, okay, she laid the eggs by my calculation on Easter Sunday. That's significant, okay? Now that I'm talking to you, I realize that she built the nest in the week of my mother's birthday, and my mother's birthday is on the 28th of March. And so then I'm seeing this, they started coming and visiting during that week. And then she starts building her nest the first week of April. And that's because they started visiting during the week of my mother's birthday. Then she started building her nest the week of April. And so by the 17th, Easter Sunday, significant, she lays the eggs. So by my calculation, the eggs would be hatching today, the 29th, which is Saturday, or tomorrow, Sunday, the 30th. So I've been watching, okay? And now that it's these 5 eggs, that's also significant to me, because they represent me and my 4 sisters. My mom had 5 daughters. This is happening in front of me. I asked Spirit to let me know that my mom was with me and that we could have this relationship. And this is the blessing that occurred. So this is a lesson on cardinals. Again, if you're following me on Instagram or Facebook at Dr. Penny Murray, you will see all the pictures that I've been posting and everything. So I'll be up tomorrow looking to see if the eggs have hatched, her babies have hatched. So now let me just go through this. I got some notes because I want you guys to know. There's so much I wanted to say, and I don't want to just be long-winded and all that. But it says that being visited by a cardinal is about paying attention to your physical and spiritual alignment and the gift of clarity that you're being given to see your higher purpose or your truth. And so this is what I'm feeling. I have been asking. There's things that I know that Spirit has asked me to do as it relates to my work in giving myself permission, or the power of self-permission. And I've just been shitty at being responsible for it. By the way, I'm doing a podcast on that particular thing that Spirit downloaded on me for me, so I can stop that all this procrastination and shit that I'm doing. So, but anyway, it says that it gets a gift of clarity that you're being given to see your higher purpose and your truth. Cardinals are often referred to as messengers of heaven because of their strong spiritual stimulation that people experience. Because remember, I was saying that whenever I see them, I just get all excited and they bring me joy. But people experience a strong spiritual stimulation when the cardinals are nearby. Cardinals are also associated with the first three chakra energies that we have. And those first three chakras are our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plex chakra. Now, the thing of it is that those three really, and it says that those three energy portals are related to domestic matters, relationships, health concerns, emotional expressions, and manifestations, or manifesting our spiritual purpose and our desires, literally manifesting those desires that we really want and have for our lives. So as I look at that, I realize that all of that is what's going on with me and my sisters, as well as me within my own personal life with me and my children. So there is that, the domestic matters. As I said earlier, the strain that has been put on my sister and I's relationships, the five of us, processing our mother's death, and how that grief is affecting all of us and straining the relationship. But then there's good news of that. And then there's the health concerns, which that is also going on with my sisters, a couple of my sisters. And then there's the emotional expression. That was me. That was all of us. That's a couple of my sisters are having a hard time expressing what they're feeling in this grieving moment. So there is that thing that's happening. And then the desire to manifest in our lives the things that we truly desire. And I know that's big for me right now, because I really want to do the manifestation, or manifest, bring into existence, achieve the spiritual agreement that I have made with Spirit. So that's another thing. Now, their brilliant red color signifies the stimulating energy in our root chakra, which is our manifesting center. Now, it's important to understand that the root chakra is that it's grounded. That's that energy that grounds into Gaia, Mother Earth, that you're getting that the flourishing, nurturing energy, fertilizing energy from Gaia that springs up through us to be able to truly manifest our desires. The thing of it is that, remember, it says the cardinals are associated with the three chakras. The sacral chakra, it is about creativity. It is about birthing. It's about self-worth. And if your self-worth is low, then there's nothing that your creativity, your creative genius, that divine creative genius that dwells there, that birthing of creative juices is blocked. And whatever the root chakra is trying to manifest, it can't get through the sacral chakra, because that's where our self-esteem is. And if our self-esteem sees us as unworthy of the things that God has for us, then that manifesting gift and energy is not going to come through. So that was really significant. So you got to keep that in mind. And, that manifesting center, called that root chakra, it allows you to bring things into your reality that align with your highest good and your true self, what I call your sacred expressive life force. Now, it's also widely believed that cardinals bring good luck and abundance. And when they show up as your animal spirit guide, they help you move through challenging life lessons. and they give you the strength and direction to keep moving towards your life purpose. And that is very significant for me right now, because I am in these lessons that I'm learning, and it's been a little bit challenging, not because of anything outside of me, but everything inside of me that's going on. So the Cardinals showing up at this time is very, very significant for me. They show up, or they show you what you deserve to have in life. There's another situation that happened that literally comes back and affirms this statement right here. They show you what you deserve in life. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on. In real time, Spirit pointed out to me that there you are again, not the worth, your self-worth, not believing that you deserve the best, okay, or feeling ashamed that this is yours to have and that you shouldn't have it. So abundance, once we start, like I said, get past that sacral chakra, if it's blocked, to open it up, to heal it, so that abundance can flow through more seamlessly and smoothly in your life. So when cardinals are around, that's the energy that they bring to you. So just keep that in mind when you start seeing cardinals, especially more frequently. That's the universe saying, I'm wanting you to heal that sacral chakra so that you begin to know that you deserve this as well, and the good that is coming to you. Now, what I didn't know, while I knew a lot about the cardinals and eggs, the symbolism, the spiritual symbolism of eggs, I did not know about the spiritual symbolism of a nest. So when I finally said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, then I had to research what is the spiritual meaning of a bird's nest. Now, the key thing is that when I started researching, it specifically says the spiritual meaning of a bird's nest at your front door or a front window of your house or apartment. This is significant because there is a greater spiritual significance when it's at the front of your house versus at the back. So at the front, it just means that your guardian angels are with you and they are watching over you. Something I had asked Spirit for, to assure me that my mom was here with me and we were going to have this relationship. When that nest is built at the front of your house, the front door, the front window, then it's about divine guidance. Now, keep in mind that at least the last 3 years, there's been some swallows, they're birds too, that are always been trying to build nests right at my front door. Right at my front door. And I keep chasing them off because, of course, I didn't know this, but I'm still going to kind of chase them off because they poop right there at the front door. So I don't want to be walking through bird poop. So anyway, I chase them off. So when they're not trying to build a nest, they're just hanging out on this swing lamp that I have. It's a light that hangs down on the front porch, and they're just chilling there. But there's a significance behind that as well, and we'll get to that. So it's the divine guidance that happens. It's an energy that creates a therapeutic atmosphere around you that will keep your mind in a calm state, and it helps to harness your creative power. I definitely need that right now in my life. There's a lot going on, okay? One of the things that I always say to people, and I had to get to this myself, being in survival mode, and this is really important for African Americans because we have lived our lives always in the struggle, hustle, survival mode, and all of that is very stressful, living paycheck to paycheck, stressing out about whether we're going to be able to meet our financial responsibilities. And so in that energy of stress and hustle, struggle, you can't relax. And it's only in the moment of relaxing or the relaxation that creativity comes through. So that is why I am such a big proponent of meditation. And trust me, I tell people all the time, meditation doesn't have to involve all this crazy ritual stuff that you have to go through to even get set up. Meditation can happen when you're walking the dog or doing yard work or, just taking a walk in a cool evening. That still can be what I call active meditation. You're actually doing something, but you're relaxing. You're tricking the collective mind or the intellectual mind into doing something busy, some busy work, so that your sacred expressive life force can speak to you without being shut down, okay, by our reasons, our rationales, our fears, and things like that. So again, that is important to keep in mind, that when you are not in a relaxed state, creativity, your divine creative genius can't come through. So just meditation is the key. Now, it also says that if the mother bird is sleeping peacefully in the nest, and she does, I just said, this is now in the evening, and I said good night to her. And so she's been sleeping peacefully in the nest and stuff. And it says that this signifies peace in your home, or it's a prophetic message that peace will be restored to your home. This is really significant for me because, as I said earlier, my mom's death strained the relationship between us as sisters. There was also other things going on between me and my two children. That strain is there in our relationship, and it has literally made my heart ache. That's what's going on between me and the sisters, the five of us, as it relates to my mom's death, and then the relationship that's going on between me and my children. And so it's my heart aches, and I have really asked Spirit to help me in that area. And so this is so assuring that it says a prophetic message that peace will be restored. And so my mother is saying to me, in this nest, being in this nest as a cardinal, the message that is coming is that I don't have to worry, that there is no severing. While yes, our relationship as sisters is strained for the moment, the joy and the peace, the love will be restored. The strain that is happening between me and my children, nobody could have told me that we would have gotten here, but that's going to be restored. And so my heart is joyful with this message. And then it says, if the mother bird is present with the eggs, this is a sign of productivity. Now, this is also significant to me because they're right outside here, my window. Like I said, there's bushes all along the front of my house. She could have built her nest further down where I wouldn't have been able to see it in plain sight, but it's right here. And so it gives me also, again, assurance and joy that the thing that I have been struggling with and vacillating and being doubtful as it relates to my work and whether I'm the person that's supposed to be doing this, it's assurance that I am supposed to do this. And all of the procrastination that was really rooted in fear and self-doubt is going to be gone because I'm going to be more productive. And so that is awesome for me as well. And it says that the bird nest, it talks about the eggs. If the bird's nest has more than 3 eggs in it. Now remember, she has 5 eggs in that nest. It says if the bird's nest has more than 3 eggs, it's the universe is assuring you that prosperity and financial abundance is coming. Now, to me, prosperity is not always about money or material things. Prosperity can be in my heart, what's going on between me and my family. It can be in my mind. That's why I'm in the work of inner wellness. Prosperity can come from inner wellness. And in the Black community, we're quick to look at prosperity aesthetically, the materialistic prosperity and abundance, but we never think about the internal abundance and prosperity. The internal abundance and prosperities of our feelings being healed. And so those are the things that I'm also looking at as well. Now, it also says that it suggests that I pay attention because the evidence of all of these spiritual signs that are significant to me will begin to really start showing up in the next 2 months or 2 months from now. So it says, it shows after 2 months. So that I am having these downloads in the next 2 months, these things are going to begin to show up. And that's significant too, because on the 27th of this month, I was reading the Way of Mastery, and it suggested an activity. And so I'm starting this process, which I'll talk about in another recording or taping as well. I started this journey, and I'm calling it a journey towards rebirth. And so there is no big deal. I'm not doing anything radical and all that other stuff, but it's just the state of mind that I'm doing this journey. And it suggested that I do this journey of rebirth for 7 weeks, and my journey will end in June. So I'm looking forward to these over the next 2 months. After these next 2 months, really things showing up for me. So, and that is going to be, yeah, that's exciting for me right now. The expectations are exciting. Now the nest, I'm still talking about the nest, and remember, it's the nest at the front door or the front window. The nest signifies that this is an opportunity to change your life right now. Not kicking the can around, not keep making excuses and procrastinating and talking all this bullshit about what you don't have and who doesn't support you and all this other stuff. It is now, this is the nest at the front window here at my house is signifying it's changing your life right now. It's time to do it. So this could be about even rewriting my narrative of my life story, where I said that my mom and I's relationship was always challenging and negative. It's time for me to rewrite that, because we're having a new story now in the spiritual relationship that my mom and I is having through me watching and having this experience with the Cardinals and the birthing of the eggs, the 5 eggs, and the birthings that is going to be happening. And so this is, you guys I can't even begin to tell you how significant this whole thing is for me right now. It also means that I can begin to, you too, can begin to start changing and reconciling with the past, my past, things that I have felt ashamed of, choices that I made that I felt was a mistake and things like that, and I beat myself up about and all that other. So it's time for me to change the narrative even there and reconcile with my history, knowing that, again, I was never the victim, even though I thought I was back then. I now realize that I was never the victim of life. I was a student, and I remain a student. And so now it's about going back and reconciling holistically about what was really going on in my life, so that I can bring that jewelry, that greatness forward into this now new experience and this rebirthing of my life that's going to hatch in June. While I'm watching the hatching here, mine is going to hatch in June. So I'm thinking this is so amazing, the spiritual download that is happening for me. Also, again, nest at the front door, nest at the front window. It signifies protection. Evil spirits are being kept out of your life by it being at the front of your house, at the door or at the window. It's also believed that the twigs that form the nest bring a good health into the overall household. So again, good health doesn't always mean the physical. I don't have any physical ailments. My muscles are not aching and all that other stuff. Good health also means my inner spirit self, my inner wellness, that it be healthy as well. Now, last thing as it relates to the nest, it says that it's a sign that your spiritual senses are intensifying, or that you're operating at a higher level of spiritual sensitivity. And I can honestly say that is what I have been feeling for at least since my mom passed. And it started with the poem that she left for us. And I'm going to do a podcast next month, or here pretty quick for May, for Mother's Day, and I'm going to be talking about the poem that she left, and how significant that is for me. So I have been on this intensified spiritual, I guess we talk about being woke, and this is really what it means to be woke. And being woke is not just walking around with a cute little phrase. It is hard work to wake up from your shit and realize that it's time to change your life narrative, your mind, how you're perceiving life and the experiences that you have had. All of that. That's what being woke is all about. And that shit has been painful for me to go through that process of waking up. And so this is where it's now saying is that I now am at a higher level of spiritual sensitivity. But I also want to talk about the eggs, because I said I knew the spiritual meaning of the eggs, and we know that the egg has always been, those Christians that I'm talking to, egg has always been used to represent Christ. What happened to the death, the cave that kept him, and then the breaking of the stone and it rolling away, and he being born again. So the egg has always been about spiritual, a sense of rebirth. It's been resurrection and wholeness. That's what the egg has always represented. But I also want to say, on the outside, of course, the egg has that kind of shell. It's gentle enough to be broken. As I'm watching the eggs here in her nest, the same thing is true. The shells are there, but it's not that they can't be broken. So there's a gentleness that you have to deal with as well. But when you look at an egg, the eggshell, it just really appears lifeless, uninspiring, basically. Nothing going on here. But if you think about it, as I'm experiencing now, the great expectation of new life coming out of those shells, those 5 eggs that are sitting in that nest. New life. And that's what that egg is really all about. But on the inside, as we look at that egg, we can't see the what's being molded and what's being shaped, and the potential that will soon present itself. And that's the same thing for us. This body that we call this physical shell that we're walking around in, it too is very gentle. It can be wounded easily, but we never understand what's going on the inside of this shell that we call the body. And so this is about tapping into my work with the power of self-permission. It's about being more conscious, spiritually conscious about what's going on inside this shell we call the body. And so that, again, this whole thing is being so significant. But I also want to talk about the number 5, because I wanted to understand the significance there too. So the egg is about, while it may appear lifeless on the outside, nothing going on here, nothing to see, take a different mindset about that, especially as it relates to ourselves, and think about what's going on the inside from all of those lessons that we're getting, that's going to eventually break that shell from the inside out and begin to really bring forth your potential. But in numerology, the number 5, that's me and my 4 sisters, the 5 of us, it represents spiritual growth and self-confidence. This is so significant for me because I've been recently struggling from the standpoint of, am I the one to truly bring this message about giving myself, my sacred expressive life force, permission? It's not, when I talk about self-permission, it's not the general use that we have thrown around our society for so long. It's deeper than that. So the number 5 represents that spiritual growth and self-confidence. And I'm really asking for that right now. Spiritually, it signifies a token of care and affection from the angels. So those 5, as my mother always referred to us as her 5 stair steps to heaven. I wonder if she ever knew. Is that that 5 number is a spiritual significance. It's a token from God of care and affection from the angels. So that's just awesome to think about. Now, that also is that that not only are they giving you a token of care and affection, but they're also setting the stage for your spiritual growth and offering you a fantastic opportunity to actualize your desires and your wishes. So that's the number 5. Your guardian angels basically are bringing you this number as an assurance that you are on the right track, but you have to maintain your current level of performance. That's going to be critical to this process. So you can't half-ass it. Now that I'm getting these messages and things like that, I've got to really pay attention to what it is saying to me, the spiritual downloads, being open and receptive to what I am receiving so that I can continue to be on track. So just remember that, again, that's the lesson of cardinals, not just the cardinals, but the nest, the significance of the nest, the 5 eggs. And I just wanted to share that with you. I'm just open and I'm waiting for the eggs. I don't know. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the eggs to hatch. And of course, again, if you want to follow the pictures, you can follow me, or you want to see the pictures. I'm going to try to sneak to get some pictures when the babies are hatched and born without being attacked. So I got to time that correctly. But anyway, if you want to see the pictures, make sure that you remember to follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Dr. Penny Murray, and you'll see the pics there. But in the meantime, I'm going to say Ashe. I'll talk to you later.